All right. On that note, remember we are still watching that Dear Congress, which is where we take you, where my colleague Natasha Piri is standing by to speak to the mayor of uMngeni, Christopher Pappas. Natasha?
Well, thank you so much, Bongiwe. And just to let you and our viewers know, the program for today has actually concluded. Delegates will then come in tomorrow, Bongiwe, vote for their leader of choice. Will it be John Steenhuisen or Municipality? And then furthermore conclude the business of the day by adopting those resolutions. But you're quite correct, Bongiwe. I am joined by the mayor of the uMngeni municipality in KZN. Of course, we saw him earlier on during the day just speaking to the over 2,000 delegates. Thank you so much for joining us on SABC News, Chris.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, last week, you somewhat indicated that you would not be standing for the position of the DA deputy leader in the province of KZN because you want to focus on your work as mayor of the uMngeni local municipality.
Yeah, so it's more than that. I want to focus on governance in general in the province. We are learning a lot in what we're doing. We know that we're going into government in 2024 in the province, and I have a lot to contribute to that in terms of what we've learned, how to get over some of the stumbling blocks. And it would be unfair of me to try and straddle both positions. I think the mature decision would be to say, let someone else take up the reins for this crucial election there, and let me concentrate on the mandate that I've been given.
Chris, you're quite confident that the DA will be taking over the province of KZN next year. But also, it's also interesting to note, and it's no secret, that the EFF has actually grown within KZN as well. How confident are you that, the province of KZN won't be led by a coalition government, perhaps?
It definitely will be a coalition government in 2024. There's no party that will get an outright majority. We've been very clear about our stance as a party, and that is that we are going to be the kingmakers in any coalition, and our preferred partner would be the IFP. That is not a secret, and we have a good working relationship with them. I disagree with you when you say the EFF has grown. I think in 2021, the local government elections, they did see some growth, but they've sort of stabilized with the rest of the country. You've seen successive by-elections in the province where they go nowhere. So I don't think the EFF is going to be a huge factor in KZN at least. I think they'll largely remain stagnant. The real competition is between the ANC, the IFP and the Democratic Alliance, and our aim is to become the biggest contender when it comes to any coalition so that we can call the shots. We want to implement our policies, our vision based on our values, and that's what we're aiming to do.
Coming out of this conference, coalitions have actually topped discussions, especially in your resolutions, your constitutional amendments. And, judging by what's been happening here in Gauteng, the DA sometimes has been accused of trying to play big brother, especially in the way it has coalition governments. What lessons are you learning as a party moving forward, especially in preparation to 2024?
Sure. So I think South Africa is a young democracy. There are many countries in the world where coalitions have been going on for a very long time. We haven't got the legal and the policy frameworks as a country. We're sorting that out as a party here, but as a country to be able to stabilize coalitions. But that changes. That's how democracy matures. I think what we learn as an organization is particularly is that there's disproportionate power given to a party it gets 2,000 votes out of 3 million, and they hold the whole city, all the residents, not just political parties or coalitions, to ransom. So those are the sorts of things that we are learning. We learned a very hard lesson in the previous local government elections where let me not say abandoned our values, but our values came second rather than, we rather looked at power rather than values. And I think maybe that's what our opponents or coalition partners may be accusing us of, is that when we make our decisions, we base them on values, and if you don't like them, well, we're not going to try and expedite or make things expedient just for political gain. We'd rather be a good opposition. So that's important, and I think any coalition agreement, any future legislation is going to be based on something like that.
And talking about future legislation, it's no secret the DA has actually called for laws to govern how actually coalitions are run, especially at a national level. We also know that lawmakers in Parliament will be embarking on a tour around Scandinavian countries to actually learn how they make coalition governments work. Is this something that the DA is keen on learning?
Absolutely, and we've started this process a long time ago. It's no secret that we have a good relationship with German political parties, with Scandinavian political parties, as you've said, and coalitions there have been in existence for a long time, and they are stable and they're mature and they work. I had dinner with the German embassy not so long ago, about 2 weeks ago, and it's so interesting to listen to how, once they come to agreement, that's it. And it's not about positions and power, it's about their communities. So I think it's a good thing. I think that the mindset of the current governing party is not around that, and they're going to have to learn very quickly, because they've always they've bullied their way through, and we've always been the majority, or they've always been the majority. So it's going to be great. I think it's very much a learning curve.
The DA has constantly said that there's good governance where they lead. I mean, you're the mayor of the uMngeni local municipality in KZN. Since you assumed, that chair, what changes have you seen, and what programs have you introduced as a mayor? I know that you've been supporting a lot of young local business, entrepreneurs, especially those SMMEs.
So, I mean, first we have to acknowledge that not everything is rosy. I mean, we live in South Africa, we live in a global environment that's taking strain. So not everything is rosy in all DA governments, but we are the best by the statistics put forward by government. For us, locally, it really is to focus on the basics. And I know that sounds so cliche, but people want to know that they can drive on their roads, the lights work, the grass is cut, that the municipality can respond when there's issues, and that's what we have to do. I think the difficult thing is that a lot of the things that people want to see now, those things that I'm talking about, take time to get to, because you have to sort out the policies and the finances and the discipline and the HR, all of those things. You have to buy the vehicles to deliver. So our biggest focus at the moment is building capacity and stopping the leakages. When I mean leakages, contracts that shouldn't be there, or overpriced, procurement. Those are the things that we're focusing on now. So the fruits of that, and if we do it properly, will start to be seen in the second, third, fourth year of government.
Mr. Pappas, a lot of DA leaders have been talking about the issue of self-introspection. Just earlier on, you were just playing around with Severe Khahube. She also said that herself, self-introspection, looking at the policies of the party, and just honest reflection, what actually works, which policies do you agree with, which policies do you disagree with?
So I think if you look at the the policy amendments that are coming forward to this Congress, there are not a lot that deviate or try to fundamentally change our policies. I think where perhaps we have been found wanting is the ability to implement, because in many places we are in opposition. So how do you test those? But when you look at where you are implementing them, so look at our economic justice policy as an example. In the Western Cape, that's what they do. Our health policies, our education policies, and they are largely successful. So I think that's our biggest weakness, not so much the policies. I think we do lack a little bit in our environmental policies, and I mean, as you see, there's a large amount of them in this particular Congress, and that needs to be something that takes a little bit more focus going forward. And then obviously refining our energy offer, which is robust but changes as the situation changes.
What will, or who will Mr. Pappas be voting for tomorrow? We heard both John Steenhuisen saying that he's willing to take the party forward, and if he's elected as the party president, I mean, he will ensure that the ANC is unseated. He will ensure that unemployment drops to 20%. We heard Municipality saying that she brings growth to the party. She'll be a leader that will be able to take it forward. She may not be experienced, but she has the capabilities.
I think that they're both great leaders. They both offer similar offerings, but they also offer something very divergent. I'm lucky I get to play devil's advocate sort of in the middle, because I get to be on stage, so I don't. I'm not.
So you won't be voting?
No, I will be voting, but I'm not allowed to publicly say. That's the condition of being part of the program. Okay. But what I really am enjoying about this Congress is that for the last two Congresses, there's been a toxicity, where it's almost as there's been two DAs, where people have been trying to portray this organization that doesn't exist. Whereas this election, it's not like that. We have two leaders who are saying, we both believe in the values of the organization, we both believe in the same policies. That is not what we are putting forward. What we're saying is that who is the better individual to lead us into 2024, and this is my offering, which is so refreshing and so nice to be able to leave here knowing that whoever it is, we still are believing in the same policies, the vision, the values of the organization, but this is the leader that will take us into.
So essentially there's no loser?
No, I don't think so. I think this Congress, as you can see, the DA is winning here. There's a vibe, an energy, a unity. I think South Africans in general are hungry for change. There's a hope on the horizon. People can see it. Just like in uMngeni, it's a beachhead, and South Africa's there. We don't have to be abused by government. We don't have to be abused by politicians. And this is what this is about. This is to say, how do we take that? How do we capitalize for our communities, our provinces, wherever it might be?
Chris, thank you so much, Nyabang. Thank you. And our viewers, that was the mayor of uMngeni, a local municipality in KZN, Christopher Pappas, just, talking on a number of issues and essentially saying that, listen, he can't say who he'll be voting for, tomorrow, whether it'll be Dr. Municipality or John Steenhuisen, but both leaders have the same vision to carry the party forward. And, in their words, the DA, is looking to unseat the ANC government come the next 2024 government elections, which is just, less than a year away, basically, Bongiwe. And of course, these leaders are basically saying that a renewed DA must come out, of this conference next year to ensure that the ANC really dips below 50% so that their candidates could possibly be the next president of the country. Well, we've wrapped up for the day here at Gallagher Estates. It's SABC News. We will be meeting you tomorrow bright and early. And of course, first thing tomorrow morning, Bongiwe, those 2,000 DA delegates will be voting for the leader of choice. And this will be via an online OPA system. So each DA member will be getting a link via SMS. And of course, they will be registering via, the online system. There are booths here where various laptops will be allocated to those various DA delegates. We've heard the DA presiding officer here, Greg Cambrock, of this conference, or Congress rather, assuring DA members that, listen, this system is credible, it is secure, it is what they were using at the height of the COVID pandemic back in 2020. So he does guarantee the safety and the security of that online voting system. With that said, from me, Tulo Manare, from me, Natasha Piri, and Tulo Manare, it's back to you in studio.
That's Natasha Piri there, coming to you live from Gallagher Estate. And remember, we'll continue to monitor this for us. And you can also check out our pop-up channel, which will run from 8 to 5. And that is manned by the digital department. So you're not missing any updates. We will, of course, bring you all the very latest, including tomorrow as well.